Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors, America's only daily outdoor TV show. Your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. I'm glad you're here this morning. We've got a great show lineup, a special guest here in Studio B. Got up real early to make it over here in time. We're glad to have him. But first, let's take a look at our weather. But before we get into weather, I apologize about yesterday. We had sort of had a blank screen all around, and if you didn't get the weather, it was good announcements and all. And be sure to go to YouTube. And there's some other things in there you might want to look at. So anyway, sometimes things happen, a technical glitch, and it's not Jeff or myself or any of us, but it just happens sometimes. We regret that and apologize for it. But we'll move on. Today's another new day, and here we go. High today, 78, low 63, and the water temperature is 67. Rounded off to 67. First time it's hit 67 this year. So the Spanish are jumping out of the water onto the pier, into your bucket. That's how many out there right now. So anyway, just get out there and give it a shot. The Apalachicola, okay, river readings brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. I forgot, I left out something because our weather, I got to get used to saying this, brought to us by Gulf Coast Air Conditioning with Drew Pollard and his crew and his family and all, and we appreciate Drew. And I had a good pictures of Drew and his son yesterday. I hope you got to see that on the very first gobbler. Really good pictures. The high river is going to be at actually a 12.4. It's going down. It's at a high point right now this morning. It's going down starting this afternoon. The Chattahoochee at Caryville, 9.3, and it's going down. Got a natural flow to it. It's going down. And both rivers will be falling out for the weekend, looks like, except we got rain coming in today, 20%, some last night, some coming in Friday. So we'll just know more about it on Friday morning when we get the weather. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn. And we're looking at a low tide at 4:41 this morning and a high tide at 6:45, and good strong tide today, and everything looks good as far as getting out catching some fish. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back with our special guest. Welcome back, and our guest this morning all the way from Milton, FWC officer Bobby Ramos. Been on here before. Welcome back.
Thank you, Winston.
You had to get up early?
Just a little bit early, but I love it. It's okay.
I was telling you, I always ask my folks when they're coming in from out of town, "Oh, did you see the deer this morning?"
No, they were still sleeping when I got up this morning.
We appreciate you coming over. He fulfills the role of not just a public information officer, he's also active in the field.
Yes, sir.
So you do both. You're wearing two hats.
Yeah, yes, sir. At least two hats.
Yeah, that is cool. So
yes,
most of the information officers just do that, but we're glad to have you. We've got a ton of stuff to go over from the FWC, and I'm just going to let you roll with it. So go ahead and get started.
Okay, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Well, we're going to talk about a couple family events that are going up here in the month of May. The first thing I want to talk about is the 2021 Lionfish Festival that's going to happen over in Destin, Florida. And we're excited to announce the 7th Annual Lionfish Removal and Awareness Festival. It's going to be May 15th and 16th at Harbor Walk Village over in Destin. Come out and celebrate the fight against the invasive lionfish with the FWC and Destin Fort Walton Beach. Activities are going to include fillet demonstrations, tasting samples of these actually very delicious fish. Mm-hmm. There's going to be family-friendly games out there, activities, art, diving and conservation booths. Vendors are going to be coming out and talking about how to get into spearfishing, the diving, saving the environment. Pretty much anything you can think about with the outdoor maritime theme will be involved out there. So come out and visit us in Destin, for that event. A lot of fun to be had during that time. See a lot of different fish come in and help us get rid of these invasive lionfish and save our reefs. The other event I want to go over is what's called Wild Quest. This is going to be the first time that FWC has ever hosted this.
This is cool. We were telling about it.
This is kind of neat. Yeah. This is going to happen May 1st to 9th. And what it is, I'll read the script first and we'll talk just a little bit. And it's new to me too, so I'm learning, this morning as well. But from the 1st to the 9th of May, FWC is hosting a Florida Wild Quest. It's going to be a unique scavenger hunt experience on select WMAs, or wildlife management areas, throughout the state. Now, Florida residents and visitors are encouraged to grab your mobile device and join a wild adventure with missions designed to help people discover some of Florida's best spots to see wildlife and enjoy the outdoors. Wild Quest players of all ages, will have opportunities to learn about and explore FWC's leading WMAs during the event. Participants who register and earn at least 2,000 points on one scavenger hunt can enter into a drawing for wilderness-inspired prizes, including a pair of binoculars and a field guide set. Players can go on the Master Wild Quest or the Wild Quest Junior at any of our leading WMAs and visit one of the featured areas that will have specific quests. Now, up in our area, Winston, we're going to have two with these featured areas included up in the Big Bend WMA and the Kirk Edwards Wildlife and Environmental Area. So those are going to be customized featured scavenger hunts, but you can also participate with the Wild Quest, program and other WMAs throughout our area, including the Osceola WMA, Appalachia WMA, Apalachicola River Wildlife and Environmental Center, Escorbano Point WMA, Boxar WMA, and Joe Budd. So to learn more about this exciting program, we want to encourage you to get out and visit this website. It's called FloridaNatureTrackers.com.
Florida Nature, I'm writing it down.
Yes, sir. It looks like a good
Nature.
time. And again, this is a new thing. The state of Florida and the FWC is always trying to get family and friends involved in things and certainly get out there and learn more about nature and our programs that we have to offer.
That's great. That sounds exciting. So they have just different things. You go just a scavenger hunt. Those are always fun.
That's right. And if you go to the select ones, there's some prizes involved too.
Really?
That's right.
That's cool. That is cool. All right. What else we got?
All right, so some of the big questions we always get, of course, are our reef fish seasons. I don't have anything for you on red snapper yet because I know your viewers are going to start asking about it. I haven't seen anything on dates on that, but our reef fish that we do have in the month of April coming up around the corner, Gag Grouper will open up in select counties. So we're basically up in there in that Big Bend area. So April 1st to June 30th. In state waters off of Franklin, Wakulla, Taylor, and Jefferson counties. And Gag Grouper will open up for the rest of the state on the 1st of June. Total length measurement on these gags are going to be 24 inches, and the daily bag limit is 2-person within the 4-grouper aggregate. So no changes on your size length or on your bag limits on your reef fish.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And then just a little bit, another kind of bump about spring turkey season. It's ongoing right now, and I think Mr. Winston was telling me earlier about a friend of yours just got his first turkey, didn't he?
Oh yeah, it was. We showed a lot of pictures yesterday. There were a lot of gobblers taken on the youth weekend and also the opening weekend. It was good. It was good.
Absolutely, yeah. And same, FWC is all about promoting hunting, and especially getting youth involved with the hunting. So we love that first weekend only for youth and get them out there and get them charged up and ready for it. I'll ask Jeff to throw this link up later on. It's myfwc.com hunting/turkey. Even if you're a seasoned veteran or you're a new hunter alike, take a look at that website. There's probably 10 or 12 links on there that take you to anything and everything you want to know about hunting, turkey in Florida, about their habitats, about their biology, where you can hunt them, how to do it, and recipes. I mean, pretty much anything you want to know. I'd encourage you to get on that website and take a look at it. I promise you'll probably learn something that you don't know.
There's some good stuff on there. And it was funny because I showed so many pictures of it, but I think the funniest picture yesterday was one I showed where one of my former students, Anderson Howard, did not get a turkey. He was hunting over the northeast area. He said, there ain't no turkey. He hunted 11 hours and showed a picture of this open spot right there. We got a kick out of that because he hunted hard. But you don't get a turkey every time you go.
No, you don't. No, you don't. And then turkeys will make turkeys out of you.
I'm telling you.
I mean, I tell you what, I've been out there in the field trying to get me a gobbler before and packed it up after a few hours and walked back, and there's turkey track on top of my foot sign. And so they are some smart beasts out there.
They're really smart. And
That's
like
right.
I say, if you send a picture and I didn't show it yesterday or something, send it back to me. We'll get it showed. Let's go and take a quick break now. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. There, Officer Bobby Ramos, who came all the way over from Milton this morning. We're so proud to have you, and thank you for getting up there early and sharing all this information.
Yes, sir.
And talking about sharing information, we're going to talk about chronic wasting disease.
Yes, sir.
And it's so important. We were talking about it when it first came out and all. We educated a lot of folks about it, but recently we haven't talked about it much. So, but it's still out there.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So let's talk about it a minute.
Okay, so CWD, what is called chronic waste disease, is a contagious nervous system disease that's fatal to deer, elk, moose, and caribou. It's been found in 26 states here in the U.S., and in many cases has had very decimating impacts on the population of these deer herds. Although there have not been any reported CW cases in Florida as of yet, the FWC is being very proactive to keep it that way. We have a management plan in place that if it were to show up, we have steps about what we'll do with that. But the goal is to keep it from getting here in the first place. And because of that, we've taken some very important measures to prevent CWD from entering Florida. One of the most aggressive approaches includes a rule change that took place this past February. The Commission approved rule changes at its February 2021 meeting that prohibit importing or possessing whole carcasses or high-risk parts of deer, elk, moose, caribou, and all other species of the deer family originating from any place outside of Florida. These new rules go into effect on July 1st, 2021.
Okay, so you just can't, bottom line, you just can't bring a deer back from Alabama and Georgia like so many folks have always done.
That's right. That's kind of it, exactly. And I'm going to break it down a little bit because there's kind of one exception to it. It's called a bisected property. I'm going to read through there and we'll talk a little bit more about it. Definitely want folks to understand it. And as always, later on down the line, and I know this won't reach every hunter out there, give us a call if there's questions about this. We're happy to answer questions, before the hunting season begins and make sure that your hunters out there understand these regulations, because we want everyone to understand the rules. We understand that if you understand the rules, you're probably going to follow them. That's what we're looking for. But these rules, they're going to replace the current executive order 19 TAC 41. They're going to be, the new rules are a very important step to reduce the risk of CWD, of chronic waste disease, being introduced into Florida. We first implemented CWD surveillance back in 2002, and in 2005 we prohibited importing into Florida any whole deer carcasses or high-risk parts from states where CWD has been detected. Importing live members of the deer family was prohibited in 2013, and in 2019 prohibited importing or possessing carcasses and high-risk parts of the members of the deer family originated from any place outside of Florida, with some exceptions. So here's the change. Under the new approved rules that are effective July 1st, people may import into Florida deboned meat, finished taxidermy mounts, antlers, hides and skulls, skull caps and teeth, if all the soft tissue has been removed. Okay. Now, in addition, the new rules allow an exception for deer harvested from a property in Georgia or Alabama if that such property is bisected by the Florida state line and is under the same ownership. And in that case, a permit is no longer required for those deer that are harvested on bisected properties. So that's a big change from how it used to be. The approved rule amendments do not include the option that's currently allowed to import a whole deer or high-risk parts from properties in Georgia or Alabama, say central Alabama, central Georgia, something like that. An import permit is no longer required because, as it's 1st of July, whole deer are not allowed to be imported except for those harvested on the bisected county lines like we talked about.
Okay, that's good information. We'll let you know way ahead of time, let everybody know. And we'll talk about that plenty more times before deer season next year and all. That comes in effect in July of this year. Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll touch on it again, like you said, before it opens up here. And we'll talk about the harvest log requirements and things like that. We got a couple phone calls from the last show about the deer harvest log requirements and tagging and stuff like that. And we're going to beat that up again later on as we get closer to your deer hunting season.
Good deal. Okay, let's jump from deer to what everybody doing this weekend and next 8 months or whatever. Boating safety.
Yes, sir.
We just it's just something we constantly try to stay on top of and try to keep everybody safe. So let's go to that. What do you got?
Okay, so springtime has arrived and the weather is warming up, the water's warming up, people are getting out there and taking the covers off the boats and getting back out there, which is awesome. But I want to go over a couple of things, and we have our obvious general boating safety message. I want to get a little bit deeper into some areas and explain some of the things to your public and make sure that you understand. And so the first thing is we consider it a vessel. And if I say what is a vessel, a lot of your viewers understand, well, that's a boat. But did you know that a vessel, per Florida law and statute, is also considered a kayak, a canoe, and a paddleboard? So a lot of people don't understand that. So when we tell somebody who's on a kayak or a paddleboard, hey, where's your life jacket? They're like, I need a life jacket for this thing? Well, you do, because you're on what's considered a vessel. And by that, so a vessel and a boat are synonymous as far as legal definition, because it is capable of transportation from one point to another. And that's pretty much where the state defines that. So because of that, then if you're going to be using a kayak, a canoe, a paddleboard, or definitely in a boat, every individual on these devices has to have their own personal flotation device, a PFD, which is also called a life jacket. We call them PFDs. You can call them life jackets. But we want to make sure people understand that important distinction.
Okay, that's a very good point right there. Let's take our final break and we'll be right back. Welcome back. Sitting here with the Office of Ramos, going over some really good information for y'all. But let's take a look at our fishing game times first, brought to us by Blue Water Outriggers down in Port St. Joe. Good outdoor folks down there, I'm telling you. 8:24 to 10:24 this morning, and this evening from 8:51 to 10:51. And we're on boating safety. You know how much we talk about boating safety. I know y'all get tired of hearing it from me, but we're going to keep preaching it. But it's so good to hear from the guys who are out there every day and seeing it. So let's go on to that boating safety.
All right, thank you, Winston. So in Florida, in order to operate a motorboat of 10 horsepower or greater, law requires anybody born after January 1st, 1988 to obtain a boater safety education course and carry that ID card with you at all times. And you need to present that to a FWC officer during inspection. And that course is free. You can get that for free off of our website. Go to the boatus.org, and they offer it for free. There's a couple other vendors that charge a nominal fee for it, but you don't have to pay that. But you do have to have it if you're born after that date.
Or you can take an outdoor education class at your local high school, and it's taught during that course. So that's awesome.
That's right, absolutely. And go and run over a couple other basic things for boater safety. We call them basic, but they're actually very life-saving. A PFD, a personal flotation device, it's required for everybody on a vessel, and we cover what a vessel is. But a common mistake that we see is that pull over a boat and it's got 4 people on board, 2 adults, 2 children, and all they have is that generic 4-pack of orange PFDs, and they think that they're good for the kids. They're probably not, depending on really the weight of that child. Most of those orange universal PFDs are rated for 90 pounds. So if you've got a 50 or 60-pound child on there, that adult-size universal life jacket is not going to be adequate for them. They're going to need a youth-size PFD that fits them individually. So make sure you check your PFDs, that you have the one that's actually intended for that child or a toddler or a baby even. And speaking of that, children wearing PFDs, any child under the age of 6 is required to wear a proper fitting PFD at all times when a vessel is underway. If they're at anchor or if they're at a beach somewhere, the child can take that PFD off. But anyone under 6 with the vessel's in motion, they need to be wearing that PFD at all times. Other basic safety equipment that we're looking for on a motorized vessel is a fire extinguisher. Any kind of vessel that's got a built-in fire or fuel tank, needs to have a fire extinguisher on board. Visual distress signals such as flares are going to be required on your coastal waters like the Atlantic Ocean or your Gulf of Mexico, or any bay or sound where one shoreline to the next exceeds more than 2 nautical miles. And then that's what we're looking for, your flares. We also need a sound producing device such as an installed boat horn, a portable air horn, or a whistle. And then on any vessel greater than 16 feet, you'll need to have one Type 4 throwable device. And so if we ask, hey, Captain, where's your throwable device at? It's that you get them either the square cushion with the handle straps on them, or a lot of times they're going to be like a big styrofoam ring or buoy with grapples on them. And those work very good for somebody who's in distress. You can throw that thing out 15, 25 feet, unlike a life jacket. You can't get the things out there. And the last thing I want to talk about as far as the boating safety stuff here is that it's not illegal in Florida for a vessel operator to consume an alcoholic beverage, while they're out enjoying the beautiful outdoors. However, an impaired person cannot legally operate a vessel. So just like if you're going to go out to downtown, Panama City, for a boys' night out, girls' night out, and you're going to be smart and have a designated driver, we want you to do the same thing when you're out boating to the public. Have somebody who's going to abstain, or have a designated driver who can make sure that the crew gets out there, enjoy our beautiful waterways, have fun at the beach, and then have that sober operator operating the vessel and get everybody back home safe as well. Okay, real quick, got about 2 minutes left. I know you got a case of the month. We do. All right, so over in Franklin County, we had a few officers, Glover, Hyphens, and Nelson, observe a few individuals harvesting oyster in Alligator Harbor. Officers approached individuals and stopped them to conduct a fisheries inspection. And then, as soon as they got up there, one of the subjects said, "Well, you can just start writing tickets now." They knew they were in the wrong.
They did a call.
Yeah, so another Officer Travis arrived and helped them out as well, and going through the oyster count. At the conclusion of the inspection, the officer determined that the individuals were in possession of 6 bags of oysters, which exceeded the daily recreational bag limit of the Alligator Harbor shellfish area. One of the individuals didn't have a proper commercial license, and the officers determined that the commercial quantities of oysters were not tagged prior to leaving the harvest location as required. And here's the deal. The oysters harvested by the individuals included 951 undersized oysters.
Oh.
That's oysters smaller than 3 inches.
Yeah.
And approximately 10 gallons of unculled and unseparated oysters. So these folks are really hurting our oyster bars. They're already struggling over there, and you got folks on there who are just not following the rules. The law allows a 5% tolerance for undersized oysters. These fellows had 71% undersized in their bags. So
they knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing. So all the oysters are required to be cold. They have to be separated, sorted, and cleaned prior to leaving that oyster bar. So these 4 or 5 officers got out there and did a good job, preventing them oysters from leaving that bar. They were able to write the appropriate citations, and then more importantly, they took those oysters and put them back on the bar so they can go out there and thrive and grow and hopefully reproduce.
That is awesome. That might be the first case we've had with the oysters and all, and usually 900 deer and all, but that's the whole gamut of what y'all have to cover.
Absolutely.
Is huge.
It is.
And is that a fairly big problem, or just every now and then kind of thing? Or
yeah, it happens quite often, unfortunately, over in those areas. That's one of the things that especially in Gulf County, Franklin County, Wakulla County, or those oyster populations are really condensed over there. It is an ongoing effort for our officers to make sure that those folks out there partaking in that industry are doing it correctly, and we certainly know that they want to make a living, and we want to protect their livelihood, but we also have the responsibility to protect that resource and make sure that it's available to grow and to thrive.
That's interesting, and that's a good case. And they said you got me already, so that's funny.
He did.
Just do what's right. You don't have to say those kind of things, But that's why I got laws for it. And they're really, people are taking things for us when they break the law. We talk about that all the time.
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you so much for coming over, and appreciate you getting up that early and coming over. And
my pleasure.
Looking forward to. And we got them coming on every month now, so we got to get a date, but you got a busy schedule too, because he's an officer and a public information guy, so you got a full plate.
Yes, sir. But I love it.
I know it. That's awesome. Thank you all for watching Panhandle Outdoors. Do something good today for your fellow man, and God bless.
Thanks for watching America's only daily outdoor TV show, Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester, featuring hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.